Hey everybody, it's just Rich here, flying solo. I know Caitlin's around here somewhere, but this is not our typical episode intro because this is a continuation episode. We are doing the second part of Midori Sour, the life of a local influencer and content creator, with our guest Danell Taylor, who you may also know as Omaha Fatty or Small Guy Productions, or the latest new co-host for Fatterday Omaha, which is one of our favorite podcasts slash public radio programs here in Omaha. So with that, we're just going to get right into it because we had such a great time talking to him. It turned into 2 episodes. So here's the second half with special guest Danell Taylor.
I gave people like a heart attack. I think it was like last week on Facebook because I said something about it was versus being well known, like restaurants that are like not popular, like
Mm-hmm.
lesser known. I could have said lesser known, but in my mind, and I knew it wasn't per the dictionary. Like I knew it wasn't the way to use it, but it felt right. Instead of saying well known, I said, it's cool to spotlight places that have a big following or something like that, but like it
Mm-hmm.
really feels good when you share an unwell known restaurant or spot.
Oh,
People were like it sounds like the restaurant's sick.
Yeah. Like, why aren't they well known? It seems like there's a reason.
did
Yeah,
you
I'm
see
like,
more
shoot.
engagement on that though?
yeah. People commented and stuff. I said, I'm sorry to trip your like your trigger with this. Like
Mhm.
I know that it's not right, but I'm like, it's 2022. I'm like, bad means good sometimes. Like you can make words whatever you want them to
Yeah,
be.
that's sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
It's just
unwell,
like, right,
sick, they're related.
Yeah.
Let's make this happen. Like,
Yeah.
let's make unwell happen.
We're bringing
as
it
like a
back. We're
positive.
taking
Yeah.
it back.
Yes.
Dude, that is so unwell.
And I had a couple people comment. I just thought it was funny. I'm like, I get it. I get where you're coming from, but this is where I'm coming from. Like,
Mhm.
and I knew it, and in my mind, that's how I said it in my mind. So that's what I stuck with. I'm not changing. I'm not changing it. It's not. Someone was like, I think spell check struck again, and I was like, no, it actually didn't. Not this time.
No.
Yeah,
That
no,
was
I meant
all
that.
me. Thank you for noticing.
So when you're going to do like a social post or an episode, like, do you just do whatever is on your mind that
Yeah.
day, or do you like how do you come up with your ideas and your content? Because you got a lot of content out there, and I'm just curious, like,
I just flow.
How?
I just flow.
It's-
Like it depends. Sometimes I schedule stuff. Like, well, for my accounts, my small guy in Omaha Fatty, I don't schedule stuff as much as I do for people for my clients.
Mhm.
like a
I,
business,
Mhm.
like us.
I'll schedule stuff more for them. But for me, yeah, it's just like whatever. Like this is what I'm feeling now, or I might have the idea for something, and I might not actually do it for a couple of days or something. But I'm just like, oh, let's do this, huh? Let's do this. That's like the beauty of
How
it just
big is
being
the
me.
craft folder? Just like massive, or you just
No,
like keep it
no,
all
I just
up
yeah,
top?
just I'm very like
Oh, dude.
spontaneous. So like
Mhm.
sometimes it's just like, hey, I'm just gonna do this. Like
So like, let me because there's one episode when I knew I was going to be on your podcast. I listened to one episode to get like kind of prepped, and it was the "You'll Never Believe What I Found in the Walmart Parking Lot" episode.
oh yeah.
So well, here's what I'm thinking happened in my mind. I'm like, so he goes to Walmart, he's minding his own business, somebody leaves a backpack out, and I won't spoil it for everybody, but there was something in the backpack that should not have been in a Walmart parking lot unattended.
Yeah.
It wasn't a baby though. It was
And I was like, was it an
inanimate object.
infant? Because that's
It wasn't an
immediately
infant.
where my brain.
But it was a
But-
diaper bag.
Yeah, it was the diaper bag. So you found that, and then so I'm like, my guess is like you went there, you found that, and you're like, I got to talk about this. And
Yeah.
So you just get on and you record an episode to talk about it, right?
Well,
just get it out there and chat.
Yeah, so at first I was like, okay, like nobody's gonna believe this. Like I'm like, I got to take a picture at least. Like, so I took a picture, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make a post on this, and I didn't plan on podcasting about it, but like the way I podcast is like, oftentimes I'll have a guest lined up, so that's cool. But if I don't have a guest, I can talk about whatever I want to talk about because it's my podcast. Like it's just me.
I run this show.
Yeah, so like if it's I do sometimes like what's going on in my life. I'll talk about like my kids, my daughter wrestling, jujitsu, whatever it is. I can talk about food, supporting local, frustrations. I always say that my podcast is like my diary when I don't have a guest. So it's just like random thoughts sometimes. Um, or I could have a thought on something like, yeah, I'm just gonna pin this, and I'm horrible about keeping notes and stuff, but I keep it all in my head. So like I'm like, okay, I like one podcast I'm gonna do here soon is my dojo was closed on last Sunday for our open mat that we usually do. So I went and visited another dojo.
Mm.
So I'm like, that's gonna be a podcast
Wow.
here soon in the next couple of weeks, just talking about um like the jujitsu community is strange because we talk about it being community, but sometimes people don't like to cross train at different gyms.
Mm-hmm.
So we were just talking about how much of a blast it is when you get to roll with new people and how important it is to be more well rounded. So when you have an open mat and people come to your open mat, you're excited. You're like, oh, I get to
Mm-hmm.
roll with someone new. So I'm like, why don't we do that more? Why is there this thing like it's like us versus them? Like like we all should be pushing each other to be better.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and like training with people who like if you train with the same people all the time, you know their moves. Like you know what they're doing, you know who they are. Like when you get new people in there, it's gonna freshen you up, and that's gonna
yeah.
be a great way to do it.
That's
Well,
so
a-
exciting.
and you don't know how good or like you don't know your real like skill level when you're going against the same people all the time,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
especially when you guys are learning from the same instructors. I mean, there's some guys who pick stuff up from like YouTube videos or they're reading books and whatnot. Like I'm not a huge student of the art. Like I just go and train. I go because it helps me get moving and
Mm-hmm.
as much as I'm eating I need to be doing something to keep active. So like and that was the thing that I started doing when my daughters were doing it, so it was like a family bonding thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's so cool.
yeah, so like it's there's different levels, but I'm like I just go and train. Like that's all I do. I don't really spend a lot. I might watch some videos on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, but I'm not gonna like I'm usually not trying a lot of stuff that I see on video, like at the dojo in real life. but those are the things where sometimes you can try something against someone who you've gone against multiple times,
Mm-hmm.
and you kind of know each other's game. You're like, "Oh, look what I learned, look what I saw on me." So
So
I
part of what I
how
love about everything that you do is it's also local based. Like you get so
mm-hmm.
much inspiration from local, and it's not just food because like we the food pictures and all that. And those are great. And like talking about food is great, and we're very food centric as well. We love our food.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there was cake in our office in Sioux City today, a
Yeah,
lemon
there
blueberry that Caitlin made.
was.
Um, but like just like the dojo experience, like that's just those are two local
Mm-hmm.
businesses that you're
mhm.
talking about and sharing info about, and you're a hyper connector, but you're a hyper local connector. Kind of, and I think that's kind of why producer Zach reached out. He's like, this guy like knows everybody. He's like talking about everything that's going on in
Mm-hmm.
Omaha. It's cool.
It's so crazy, man. Well, and I'm starting to be recognized for like the Omaha fatty stuff. So the first
What
like one of the, I'll go ahead.
what happens? Like, how often do you get recognized?
It's almost every time I go out. Like
Really?
it's crazy. So like
Wow.
the first time that it one of the first times that it happened was during COVID because I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what happened. Like a lot of other businesses, I think during COVID is when people started to really like start gravitating towards Omaha Fatty.
Mm-hmm.
So I was at Sam's Club with my daughters one time, and I had a mask on. They had masks on as well, and we're just walking down the aisle, and this lady goes, "Hey, you're you," and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
"Sure, yeah,
Yeah,
I
of
am
course
me.
I'm me.
That's
Who
me."
else would I be?
And I'm like, "What?" I didn't really recognize at first that she was talking about Omaha Fatty. So
Yeah.
and then she told me her name. She said, "Yeah, I followed you on Facebook." I said, "Oh, I know your name. It pops up all the time." So shout out to Lori Conklin if you happen to hear this podcast.
Oh,
She
isn't
was one of
that
the first
sweet?
people. Yeah, but like last night we went out to eat at Ahi Sushi and Ramen on 124th and Center,
Mm-hmm.
and there were two ladies with a kid that were walking in behind us. My wife was holding the door open. I of course hold the door. I said, "No, you go ahead." I let her go, and then I hold the door for the two ladies and the kid. And the first lady, named Libby, who I met her last night, she
Now you're
goes,
friends.
"Yeah, yeah." She goes, "Well, I know that you're eating here, so I know I'm at the right place." She goes, "I'm a big fan of your page."
Oh my gosh. Do
So
you feel like you have to be on your best behavior? I
mm,
would be like
no,
nervous. Like you're just always on
I
your
feel
best
like he's kind
behavior.
of always
Yeah, I know
personable
that's like
though.
yeah.
Like I just get
Uh,
that vibe that
unless I'm in
you're.
traffic.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm sure you have bad moods. Like everybody has a bad mood, but you just
Yeah.
seem like, you're not the guy who's going to snap at a stranger. Like you're going to
yeah,
be more
that's
like
gonna hold the
open
door
No.
and
for
interested in
Libby.
what's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. It would take a lot for me to snap at someone, but
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I try not to because as I often talk about, like it's so negative these days. Everything is so
Mm-hmm.
negative. So and people focus on that negativity,
Hmm.
and you can see that in posts as well. Like I can post something like influential or like motivational or something, and it
Hmm.
might get a few hits. But I tell you, if I post something about some drama, oh my god, like
Mm-hmm.
everybody is commenting on it, and like, and I'm just like, why is it like that? And I I can't remember if I read it or if I heard it, but there's this thing where there's this story about a teacher. She's like a first grade or second grade teacher, and she's doing mathematics with her class. And so on the chalkboard, she starts to write from 1 to 10. And she goes 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. And then she counts the rest of the way to 10. Well, the kids start laughing.
Hmm.
And she's like, why are you guys laughing? And they say, you missed a number. You skipped 4. And that was her lesson to the class. I did that on purpose. In life, you can do right 90% of the time, but
Ooh.
that 10% is what people will focus on.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always trying to go out and like leave good impressions on people. And when I've talked to youth before, I talk about the ripple effect and like you never know how far an engagement with someone will go. So something
Hmm.
like holding the door open, or what I do often is if I see an older person putting groceries away, like I'll wait if
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to put my cart back, and I'll ask them if I can put their cart back. Like that other day when it was 100 and something
Yeah.
degrees,
Oh,
I saw a lady in the parking lot. I said, "I'll take that back for you," and she was
Hmm.
so grateful for me doing that. I'm like, that
I
little
did
thing.
that at the store like a
Hmm.
couple weeks ago similarly, and the guy looked at me like I was going to ask him for money. Like he was so
mm-hmm.
shocked that he was
Yeah,
like, what do you want from
yeah,
me?"
Well,
Like,
yeah.
and I was like, "No, I just want to put your cart back cuz you just carried like 4 12 packs of Pepsi out and
in
put it in your car, and
fairness,
that seemed
if
heavy."
you're
Yeah,
if you're at Aldi, you are asking for money because you're coming back
It's
to get that
true.
quarter back
I
out of
was not at
there.
that quarter.
Aldi. I
Okay.
do the maximum amount of money I've collected at Aldi is 75 cents. I'm constantly trying to like top that. I'm trying to break my own record.
I
That's
was just
funny.
thrilled
Like
because
the
I went
spirit
out
of
to get
goodwill.
one and we didn't have any quarters with us, but there were some
Oh
quarters in the
no.
car. So I got quarters out of the car and then I was going up and I noticed like there's a cart just like sitting over there.
Mhm.
There's no cars anywhere near it. There's no people anywhere near it. So I like stood there for a minute like watching like it's like I'm stealing
I
something.
know.
And I was like, well, I'm just going to go use the cart that's over there like halfway across the parking lot because it's got to come back anyway and like no one was near it. So I was like, all right,
Yeah,
I'll
that's
take your
funny.
quarter. I got $1.
Yeah, I tell you, people don't expect to run into like someone doing something just out of the kindness of their hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Like one of my best friends, he did pretty well for himself, him and his family. So, and they were big about giving back to the community. And they went to like a lower income area of Omaha, and I can't remember how many he had, but it was around the holidays. He bought a bunch of like $25 gift cards, and he
Mhm.
was just standing out in front of a store and handing them out to random people. And he said the looks that he got from some of the people, like it was so like untrustworthy, like no, what are you doing? Like
What's the
no, like
catch?
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. He's like
Mm-hmm.
no, like I just wanted to do something. Like I'm in a place where I can help other people, and this is just how I chose to do it. But yeah,
Mhm.
people don't expect that because there's so much negativity. We stopped watching the news for the most part years ago because
Yeah.
Same.
yeah, there's so
I
much
can read
negative.
it, and even then, I'm like, "Oh, maybe I should put this down." Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
yeah.
it's tough sometimes, and that's what I try to do. I used to complain a lot about how bad things were, and at some point I just said I complain so much that I better start trying to do something about it.
Mm.
And that's a really great wrap up for like what your content is. Like it's talking about great food, talking about great experiences in Omaha, really, and then uplifting and promoting other businesses and other people in the community. Like it's great. Like we're so happy to have you on here.
Man, I'm happy to be
Um,
here. I'm
This,
honored.
oh my gosh. This has just been such a joy already. I'm curious if you have advice for someone who might be considering content creation or podcasting or local blogging.
Well,
Any of the things.
I get questions sometimes. I just had a friend that I used
Yeah.
to work with. He sent me a message on LinkedIn. He goes, "Hey, a really good friend of mine is thinking about starting a podcast. I dropped your name and gave her your contact information, so she might be reaching out to you just for some
Hmm.
tips." So she reached out, and I said, "You know what? The only tip that I have is to just do it. Like, I mean,
Hmm.
yes.
you learn as you go. Like, no one
Yeah.
knows everything about any topic that they have just started to do." And I used to listen to a lot of like Gary Vaynerchuk years
Hmm.
ago, and that's probably what helped me along too, because I was like I was getting in all this information from Gary Vaynerchuk. Like I was doing a lot of stuff on my own already, but like he
Hmm.
was the reason that I started recording through Anchor, because he was talking about Anchor, and I was like, ooh, it's an easy
Very
way
good.
to record instead of me, doing like a video. I can just do audio through my phone or whatever.
Hmm.
Uh, and so you just got to start doing it. No matter where you start, you will learn as you go, and
Yeah.
you'll find what works for you. I didn't plan on doing social media or making content. I was all about making in-person events. That's what I was
Hmm.
doing. But I find that when you put energy out there, because everything is energy,
Hmm.
when you put
Hmm.
energy out there, it not only comes back to you, but if you're working hard and being consistent, like that's one of the biggest things. Be consistent, work hard, and then be authentic, be you. Like you don't have to,
Hmm.
I might do like a crazy intro, like "What's up, everybody? It's your man Danell, aka Small Guy Promotions, aka the Omaha Fatty." Like I might start that off like just to that's my intro. I'm trying to
Hmm.
capture your attention, but a lot of times people realize that I'm being genuine. They say, "There's a
Hmm.
lot of food bloggers, but I like your page, or I like you because you're different. Like you make food fun." I've
Hmm.
heard that so many times, and I'm like, "Really?" Like I don't it's crazy because I don't see it as me doing anything. And that's like a key thing. Like you may not recognize the
Yeah.
greatness of something that you do because it comes naturally to you, but someone else who's watching, that might motivate them, or that might just get their attention. And so
Hmm.
I started leaning into it. I was just telling someone the other day, back when I was younger, I didn't like strangers coming up and talking to me. I'm like, "Why
Hmm.
are you talking to me? I don't know you. Like,
Hmm.
leave me alone." But when I was 19, our apartment manager, she called me like outgoing, and I was like, "Me? I'm outgoing? I've never been called that before. That's okay." And
Yeah.
then just things kept happening, and it was just like that energy that you put out, you don't always recognize it, and sometimes it takes other people noticing it
Hmm.
first for you to be like, "Oh, this is what I should be doing." So that's what
Yeah.
happened with me. I just do what feels right, and I lean towards wherever like that energy takes me. So just start and learn as you go. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
That's the best advice I've ever heard,
What do you
honestly.
do? Do you have the voice? Like this is my problem. Do you have the voice that in your head that's like why bother or like why like what do you do to overcome that? Because that's my thing where it's like nobody really cares what I have to say or like this is not important. Like I'll be typing a tweet and then like why would I do
No,
that? You
uh,
don't have that?
I mean, there's certain things, but like I posted something on Twitter. So I did an eat and greet on Saturday because people were always like, "Hey, we'd like to meet you.
That's
We'd like to meet you."
spectacular.
Blah 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 blah. So that was our second eat and greet, and
Mhm.
like no, like three people showed up, and I'm thinking like, okay, I don't understand. People always want me to do this type of stuff, but then when I do it, they don't show up.
Mhm.
But I just reflect on it because I'm not gonna stop because I failed. So I tweeted. I said something about character, like no matter you continuing, no matter the result of what you did, that's what shows your character. So you have to know what you're doing it for. And like, so for me, no matter what, I have a good time podcasting. Again, it's
Yeah.
my diary. I like to do it. So whether 10 people listen to it or 100 people listen to it, I'm still going to do it. Or like we talked about before, I like the sound of my own voice, so I might just go listen to
Oh,
myself.
you and Caitlin have something in common.
But yeah, no, so that's for me, like all the experiences and all the fails that I've experienced. And that's what I talk about is, and that's my previous employer. That's one thing that I did learn from them is everybody makes mistakes, but mistakes are
Mhm.
opportunities for improvement.
Yeah.
So like I'm not afraid to make a mistake. So it's what you do after that mistake
After.
happens.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, like if you go to a restaurant and they get your order wrong, like if they just tell you to F off when you bring it to their attention, you're like, oh, I'm probably
Yeah.
not going to go back there. But sometimes people will say, oh, I'm so sorry.